Ford.
And now an ode to play, brought to you by Scratchers and the California Lottery Philharmonic.
Take a time out from your busy day for a quick moment of play. Get some scratchers, then get scratchy. You deserve it, won't you say? Scratch, 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 scratchy, 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 scratch, scratch. Feel the play and up your game. Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make a day.
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
On 95.3 WBCK, proudly brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Here's Coach's Corner.
This is Bill Broderick, sports editor of the Battle Creek Enquirer, in the big chair once again on WBCK for the final week of Coach's Corner for the boys basketball season. We had some technical difficulties earlier, but now we're rolling, so we're coming to you live from downtown Battle Creek at the Lakeview Ford on the Motor Mile. For more than 6 decades, Coach's Corner has been talking to the city high school coaches about the week in sports. We will be talking to each of the city hoop coaches about this week. But before we continue, here's the Lakeview Ford Coach's Corner scoreboard. Only one city team was alive during regional week, with St. Phil winning their district championship in Division 4. Tigers won their regional semifinal, defeating Lawrence 56-45. In other regional semifinal action around the area, Colon defeated New Buffalo to set up a matchup with St. Phil in the regional championship game. Elsewhere, Marshall played in a Division II regional semifinal, but saw its season come to an end with a 54-40 loss to Chelsea. In the regional final round on Thursday, St. Phil fell short, falling to Colon 49-40. It was Colon's first ever regional championship. We will be back with our first coach of the morning after this commercial. This is Coach's Corner on WBCK 95.3 FM.
In Michigan, people like to love what they drive. And it's easy when you've got America's favorite truck, the Ford F-150. Lakeview Ford in Battle Creek provides the romantic setting with Truck Month. Couple up with a truck you love, whether it's new on the lot or a custom order. Lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for $389 a month with $24.19 due at signing. How about a 2026 Ford Escape for $389 a month with $25.09 due? Or the 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend at $449 a month with $24.69 due at signing. Leases for 36 months and tax title license fees extra. See dealer for details. Love is in the air with thousands in savings, great rates, and a big selection of 2025 vehicles in stock. And some really fine certified pre-owned too. Test drive now and experience the love during Truck Month and get huge deals at Lakeview Ford at the corner of Dickman and Washington. Get ready, set, Ford. Visit shoplakeviewford.com and tune in to Community Matters every Saturday at 8 a.m. brought to you by Lakeview Ford.
Our Representative Tom Barrett is standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. He knows the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Coach's Corner on WBCK, brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now back to the show.
This is Bill Broderick, sports editor of the Battle Creek Enquirer, back here on Coach's Corner, here with our first coach of the morning, Coach Robbie Hatton of the Penfield Panthers. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
We had Penfield had another excellent season under your belt. They finished 18-6, and they won the Interstate 8 Conference Championship for the second year in a row. A lot to keep your head up about for this season, Coach. A lot to be proud of. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. You know, these kids put a lot of work in. 36 wins in 2 years for this group. A lot to be proud of for them and the accomplishments they've had in their high school career. There's a lot of, I was looking at, there's a lot of good teams that didn't win a district. And, we're one of them. I thought we really had a good season, and I'm really proud of the guys and just the growth that we had from beginning of the season to the end of the season. And, I've always told them this isn't my team, it's theirs. I'm just here to help guide them. And, so it is just, I was really happy with what they've got out of it. And obviously it was a little disappointing not to get that district title, but, We again, back-to-back I-8 champs is nothing to be sad about.
A couple of highlights of the season, like you talked about, you clinched to share that Interstate 8 Conference Championship with a couple games to go, and that was a good accomplishment. You guys were able to cut down the nets at your home gym, and some of those moments that are going to stick with you for this year, that has to be one of them. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, cutting down the nets and, doing all that, but seeing every kid in our team, Bill, we truly were a brotherhood. We kept 15 kids this year, and a lot of them knew that the likelihood of them being able to play big minutes wasn't going to be there. But I tell you what, those kids made us better in practice every single day. And for me, seeing those kids cut down the net and the joy in their face, that was some of my favorite memories from this season, and a memory, honestly, that I'll take with me for a long time, because, in today's world and society, we don't have those moments very often where kids who, can just say, hey, you know what, I know I'm not going to play a ton. I know I'm not going to be a main rotation player, but I want to be a part of this so I can be with my friends. And then consistently showing up every single day to make them better. Man, it was such a rewarding feeling in that moment to see that for the kids.
And the toughest part of a season coming to an end is that you have to say goodbye to a pretty good group of seniors, and you had a quality group that you've been with the last couple of years that helped you to back-to-back titles. Let's talk about those guys a little bit, and it's sad to say goodbye. You had to do that in the past week or so, and you wrapped your head around that. But talk about those guys a little bit. Yeah,
we lose 10 kids from this team. We had 9 seniors, and then we have an exchange student that won't be back. And it's been a really big grind with these kids. I came in, and again, Coach Burns did such a great job in Penfield when he was here, and I came in with a completely different style, and really asking the kids to change who they are and how they played to play a different type of pace and different style. And it's never easy to do that. And last year, a couple of those kids didn't really play very much. Brady Conley, for an example, Tommy Wright, even Peyton Merlington. They didn't get as many minutes as they were hoping or thought they could have, but, never heard them complain, never heard them be upset. And they just put the work in to change how they played. And this year they were main guys for us. And, just seeing that growth from them, too, was awesome. Those kids, they didn't sulk, they didn't pout, they really just kept working, and and that was really rewarding for me to see the growth of the kids who, again, like we said, maybe only played 3 to 5 minutes a game last year, now playing 20 and thriving in the role that they had. And then obviously we got our other seniors, Johnny, Calvin, Drayshawn, those guys, they played quite a bit of minutes last year, and they left their stamp in this program. They left their mark in the program. Those guys really, they're going to go down as some of the better players to play in Penfield. I think Johnny's going to be third on the all-time scoring list, and, he's going to have multiple records up there. Calvin has multiple records up there. As a team, we have some records up there. So, they left their mark, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. You want a team to leave their mark and kind of leave a legacy, and I definitely think this group of seniors did. And like I said, the guys that really didn't get to play very much but still showed up every day, Trevin Strahan, Terrence Grigsby, Matthew Martinez, those guys really they showed up for me every day. Hunter Jones was another one who, his season was cut short, but, man, Honey Bun, he showed up every day and made Johnny better, banged with him. And just, really just love those kids for what they did for the program. And then we had an exchange student, Till Rewinkle, who came over here and he was always happy, he didn't want to play. Like, he could care, if he didn't get in, it wasn't a big deal to him. He wanted to play, but if he didn't get in, he just loved being a part of the team. And then we did our trading card night giveaway for our youth night. Those kids got to sign some autographs and felt like, it was just such a cool moment for those kids this year. And, the senior group was very special.
And we also like to take this time to say thank you to some of the people that support the program and all the people that are kind of around it. The program doesn't run by itself, and it's not just run by the head coach. And a lot of guys, a lot of people that help run the program, and you have a lot of people at Penfield that help you do that. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, our athletic director, Brett Steele, one of the greatest basketball minds I've ever met. It's really nice to be able to stop in his office and run some things by him. And, he's came to practices a couple times to, help us clean up some things. And, he's kind of was an assistant coach without being an assistant coach, if that makes sense. And, just super supportive of our program. And then, obviously my coaching staff, Matt Merlington, Chris Miner, Chris Conley, Michael Coos, Alante Washington. We had a great coaching staff, could really bounce some ideas off each other. And, it was just fantastic. And then, obviously we had a couple parents that really helped us out this year, Jamie Merlington, Holly Conley, and then G-Maw. They really helped us. Anything I needed, they make sure we had. And, they went above and beyond for senior night this year, and just those things. And I know I got to give a big shout out to Holly Conley. She helped me cut out almost 2,000 trading cards for our kids. So I know her fingers were sore after cutting those too. So that was a big deal for us.
Well, we want to thank you, Coach, also for joining us every week on Coach's Corner, and a good season for the Penfield Panthers, and congratulations on another good year.
All right, thanks, Bill.
We'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning after this break on WBCK 95.3 FM.
And now an ode to play, brought to you by Scratchers and the California Lottery Philharmonic.
Take a time out from your busy day for a quick moment of play. Get some scratchers, then get scratching. You deserve it, won't you say? Scratch, 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 scratchy, 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 scratch, scratch. Feel the play and up your game. Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make a day.
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
Coach's Corner on WBCK, brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now back to the show.
This is Bill Broderick, sports editor of the Battle Creek Enquirer, back with our next Coach of the Morning here with Coach Matt Bowling of the Harbor Creek Beavers. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Bill.
We had Harbor Creek with a young team this year, coming off a season where they were Interstate 8 conference champs last year, but they were senior laden, and a lot of those guys were lost to graduation. So you had some young guys and some new roles, and came out with an 8-15 record. And let's talk about that season a little bit overall, and talk about some of those seniors that played a big part in that.
Well, I mean, as a whole, I think we competed game in and game out. We gave everything we had. I mean, our biggest player was about 6'2", physically, and to be honest, we battled. We just didn't shoot the ball well. If you look at all of our percentages, to be honest, and we had the banquet. We talked about it at the banquet. All of our shooting percentages, 2-point, 3-point, in the paint, and from the line, they were below the national average for high school kids. And when you struggle to score, hence there's the results. It wasn't because of scheme. It wasn't because of effort. It wasn't because, kids weren't coachable. None of that. Kids worked hard. We had a great year, high character kids. We just struggled to score the ball, especially around the rim.
Yeah, and you have to, and now that you had your banquet, and I'm sure that was a night where you had to say goodbye to some seniors, and that's always the toughest part of this time of year. And you had some key guys that are going to be leaving the program. Yeah,
I mean, Cameron Converse did a great job for us, probably our most verbal leader this year. He battled and played an undersized role, but was our defensive most valuable player, had a great year for us. Tegan Turnbull won our Hustle Award, our on-ball defender. Tegan, what a great attitude and good athlete and fun young man he is to be around. And Maddox McCarty, senior, had a great season. Led us in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Just a winner and battled all year long. And our 3-year varsity player was Dylan Eversole, who has a school record for shooting percent for threes in a season. He shot 44% as a junior. He had a great career, and he was definitely a marked guy this year, and still had some great performances for us and did a good job and really stretched the defense. So those 4 guys did a good job, and they worked hard for us all year, and can't say anything negative about what they provided us. They were fantastic guys.
And you saw you had some playing time for some young guys this year, just because of the way the team was set up, and you saw some guys take the next step, and you're hoping some of those guys are going to take another step going next year. Who are some of those key guys?
Well, I think all of our underclassmen had some growth. I think it was definitely substantial growth, especially for our sophomores, but our juniors had growth as well. Our sophomores were Logan Converse and Keeson Trevino and Gavin Chapman, and those three guys grew a bunch. But all of our juniors had moments through the course of the season where they stepped up and did things, and got us through big moments. And like Broderick and Silas had big games down at Sturgis and carried us through. Brock Trzynski had a big game, carried us through, got us going against Lakewood, Trenton. Ray did a lot of different things well for us at times. We had a lot of juniors. Colton Matisse battled and did a good job against us with the bigs in the Grand Ledge game, where there's a lot of positives about the guys we got coming back.
And like we were talking about with all our coaches this morning, no program is run by itself, or no program is run by just the head coach. There's a lot of people that are behind the scenes that help you run a program, and we give this time to thank some of those people. And I know Harbor Creek has a nice group that helps you.
Yeah, we got a pretty big list. In the athletic office, Mel Fiesel and Jess Ratcliffe for all things they do. Trinity, our trainer, Matt Ratcliffe, game management. Brady Gaughan, DJs our home games, does a good job playing music. Dave Van Giesen for our game day programs. Deb Look, Bruce Perea, Chris Barnes, Brian McManus, Tommy Turnbull worked the table for us. Our road book for all three games was Keen Arms, and Keen did a good job for us with that. Our manager, Chris Kreider. All of our players in our program, thanks for all their efforts they did, and our seniors. Parents, fantastic. We had great parents at Harper Creek who were very supportive, especially Kevin and Jenny Eversole helped us with team dinners. Michelle Lutsky with Facebook, Tina Matisse with some cookies. Pictures for our seniors, and through just Facebook with Tiffany Schmidt and Sandy Jackson. Program support was Ben Lincoln and Alex Nikolic did a great job. Our Junior Beavers president, Keisha Settles, and all the Junior Beavers coaches, our middle school coaches, Guy Settles and Jared Dell, Nolan Newton, Braxton Liss, and Brady Gaughan. And our ninth, there are our freshman coaches, TJ Simpson, Anthony Cadena, and Brian Eiler. Our JV coaches, Troy Fight and Chris Bowers, and our varsity coaches, Keegan Nikolic, Gavin Jacks, and Kyrie Watkins, and those guys did a fantastic job, and Andrea helping me out behind the scenes. So, thanks to all those people.
And you guys had a year, and then looking like you can move on to the next stage there with some young guys, and like we mentioned, and hopefully some help from the underclassmen and the JV and freshman teams to get going in the next round.
Yeah, our JV had 6 freshmen up. They had a successful season. They were 12-10. Again, offensively, they need to gain some consistency and get better. Freshmen, with six up, they had a good season themselves. A lot of individual growth and development there through the course of their season, and they won 8 games. So a lot of size. Well, we shouldn't say a lot of size. A lot of Harper Creek size coming, bigger bodies. So maybe 6'3" and a little wider set of shoulders. But we got some bigger kids coming to help. And kids work hard. I can't complain. We've already started working hard to make adjustments and what we need to fix offensively for next year to maybe get us some more close, uncontested looks to hopefully smooth things out. But, we're excited to get back in the gym here, and we got coaches willing to do that once spring break's over and get them going again and start the wheel and the process all over again.
It all happens again. That's right. And we want to thank you, Coach, for coming in every Saturday to Coach's Corner and helping out and letting people know. I know people appreciate that too. So
yeah, thank you. Oh, and thank you, Bill, with the fantastic job you do covering the city and the area with everything and doing it down here. And one last thing I'd like to do too is, keep prayers open, for the people down in Union City and Three Rivers. There are a lot of people that we know down there. Their men's basketball coach lives right on Union Lake that was hit. Fortunately, they're all safe, but a lot of people waking up with some tough situations down there this morning. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
That's for sure. And we echo those comments also. So thanks, Coach, for coming in. We'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning after this break on WBCK 95.3 FM after this.
Coach's Corner, 0.3 WBCK. Proudly brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Here's Coach's Corner.
This is Bill Broderick, sports editor of the Battle Creek Enquirer, back here on Coach's Corner, here with our next coach of the morning, Coach Steve Wickman of the Lakeview Spartans. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
We're doing well. We're doing well this morning. We had Lakeview had a young team this year. They're coming off a district title from last year, but lost a lot of players to graduation and came in with a younger team in terms of minutes played, not necessarily seniors, but minutes played, and it came out with a 5-18 record. But some growth there and some getting some guys going in the right direction in the program. And is that your takeaway for this season?
Yeah, I think anytime you have a season where you win that many less than you lose, it's tough on everybody, because we're all competitors. But I was very pleased and proud of our kids, how they handle themselves, and how they continue to persevere and fight. And one word that keeps bouncing around in my head is with this group is resiliency. I think they're very resilient. A lot of times we'd come in on a Wednesday from a Tuesday night loss, and you couldn't tell one Wednesday from another, and they were all pretty solid practices, pretty energetic guys, really wanting to get after it and get better. And you would never know. I mean, if you walked into our practice, I don't think you'd ever know what our record was. So I was pretty proud of that for them.
And like we talked about, you didn't have a lot of guys that had a ton of varsity minutes coming into the season, but you did have a good group of seniors that have been with the program for 4 years. And those guys that are leaving now, and you have to say goodbye to them, and some seniors that are leaving the program, but gave you a lot in their time at Spartan.
Yeah, so we're gonna graduate 5 guys this year off of our team that have been in the program all but one of them been in the program all 4 years at the high school and probably in the middle school too. So in a couple of them, you kind of you watch these kids grow up a little bit sometimes because they come to summer camp when they're in 3rd, 4th grade and they keep plucking away and working, and then they end up on your team, and all of a sudden 1 year they're seniors, and you're like, holy cow, how did this happen? So Owen Davis is one of those guys, hard worker. He played the most minutes on our team this year. He shot the most shots on our team this year, and he deserved those minutes and shots because he worked really hard in the off season. Isaiah McFerrin was our everything guy, defensive specialist. He was on the best guy every night, and sometimes he was 6 inches shorter than the guy he was guarding, but he was fearless and such a warrior, and really grew into being a good player. As a freshman and sophomore, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to stay in the program or not because he would miss practices and this, that, and the other thing. I don't want to get too deep in, but he grew, and he grew on me, and he's going to be sorely missed. And Tavion Newton's another one who, him and Zay are kind of the heartbeat of our team. Those two really love playing defense, and as we've talked about many times this year, we struggled to score a little bit this year, so you better have a good defense. And I thought, we did have a pretty good defense for the most part. And those two guys, Tavion is the guy that you're going to find on the floor with the floor burns, with the sore muscles and all that. Played through some illness this year. Just and again, a very special young man. Just works really, really hard. And I think, as I think with all these guys, Tay's going to be a very successful person in his life. And another senior that's been in the program 4 years is Landon Gordon. Call him Lando. Lando's another one who, these guys all just work very, very hard, have a lot of pride in themselves, in their personal game, and have spent time working on that. And I think probably the best thing about Lando is he's very, very competitive, but he's got the greatest smile on the team. I mean, he's just a super good kid. And then our last one is Gavin Deal, who came back to us this year after missing his junior year, wasn't really sure he wanted to play, and ended up not playing last year, and I wish he would have, but, we got a good season out of Gav. He's an undersized post player who works really hard, very strong, does a lot of good things, rebounding, very, very intelligent player. I was really pleased that he came back and then that we were able to get, I think, everything we could out of him this year.
And now you look forward, you want to bounce back and kind of show some improvement next year, and you have some guys that maybe came up and had bigger roles this year as underclassmen, and they're going to grow in the program. And you see some of those guys, some of those key guys, who you're looking forward to make the next step.
Yeah, it was interesting, and we talked, I think, last week or the week before about Nolan Porter being our leading scorer, and a year ago I didn't know Nolan Porter. I didn't even know him, and now I love the kid. I mean, he's got a great personality. He can play. He can play a little bit. He can shoot it. And he's just a very likable young man. So it was nice to meet him and get him in the fold, and we'll be excited to have him back. And his running mate is Jelon Graham. They've become like best buddies in school, and when you see one, you usually see the other one at school. And Jelon has unlimited potential. I mean, he can, as a 6'1" guy, he can dunk with anybody, and when his shot's on, he's really good, and he can defend. And we're looking for huge things from both of those guys next year. And then Carter Jenkins and Sean O'Donnell are both guys that played quite a bit early. Sean played quite a bit early, but then he got ill, and then he had a weird, tendon thing going on with his hand that kept him out for like the last 8 weeks, I think, which hurt us because he's a bull in the china shop. I mean, he's a rebounder, he's a defender, he's not afraid of anything. So we really missed him when he went out. And Carter Jenkins is a young man who's developed, slowly but surely. He just keeps getting better and better and better, and has developed a really nice jump shot. Rebounds well, jumps well, thinks the game pretty well. We just need to get him locked in a little bit more on defense next year, and I think he's going to have a good year for us too. And then when Taylor Rhodes is our other junior, who again last year did not play on the JV team, but came back this year, and we're glad he came back. Left-hander with a very unique shot, but he has a chance to be a good shooter, and he's already a good rebounder and defender. And then our last guy that was a youngster was a sophomore that we pulled up when we found out Sean couldn't play anymore. We moved up Josiah Wanzer, and as a sophomore, I didn't know that he was ready, but as he went along, he proved that he was, and I think he's got a very bright future. He's a big body. He works very hard, and he really likes banging inside, which sometimes when kids are big, they don't always like this stuff, but he really enjoys it, and I think that's a solid core group. And then we had a nice JV team that went 10-12 and probably lost 4 or 5 of those games by a bucket or two, and so they were very competitive. And I'm really looking forward to kind of putting all those pieces together this summer and seeing what we got.
And as we've been talking to the rest of the coaches this morning, no coach runs the program by himself. He gets a lot of help behind the scenes, and that's the same there at Lakeview. Some people that help you keep the program running and keep things going for Spartans.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that do a lot of things, but there's a core group of people who have kind of they've become really important people to me, and they really help me on a daily, and they help me as the season rolls on. And obviously the first and foremost is my wife Christy, because as I've talked to you about every year, they live it too. And some nights I come home and she'd want to just go to bed because I wasn't very happy, but I love her to death, and I'm a lucky man. Our AD, Sean Amesbury, and it's weird to say our AD because he's a good friend. Sean and I have been together for a long, long time, and I love him like a brother, man. And he's a really, really good AD, and he's a really good friend. Laura Van Dis, who's our athletic secretary, saved my ass so many times I can't even count. And I appreciate her efforts. She works really hard and really cares. And then Kate, our trainer, does a really good job. The kids love, sometimes I think they like her too much. They like to be in her office and talking to her, but I think it's a safe sanctuary for them to go in there and just kind of be themselves. So I think that's good. Photographer Ken Roach, who did all kinds of stuff for us. He videos, he photographs. He runs our light show before the game, and I know you've been there a couple of times, but it's pretty special for our guys. The smoke's coming out and the fire and the song and all that. So that's kind of cool that he does that. And then my coaching staff, obviously, Glenn Hicks, Brian Mueller, and Ronald Jamerson, who Ronald's father passed this past summer, and he came to me and said, I want to coach. And I'd known Ronald, for a few years because he had always kind of been around with his dad helping. And, he loves the game. He calls our team my guys. These are my guys, man. And he's done really, really well with our guys and helped them immensely with confidence and with shooting. He's more than willing to stay after practice for as long as they want to stay a lot of times and just get up shots and they pick his brain and things like that. So I'm very lucky with the coaching staff that I have. The guys are all on board. They're all very loyal, and we met the other night, and we're all looking forward to getting after it this summer. Mike Niklich, who kept book for us on the road, he's kind of taken a step back. He did our stats for 25 years, and now he's like, I need to maybe do something else on a Tuesday night once in a while. So that's a really, really tight group of people. When you look at all the ancillary things that they all help out too, the people that announce and do the tickets and all that kind of stuff. But this is our tight group here, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention our principal, who's also a good friend, Cody Jappinga, who's very, very supportive of me, of our athletics, and is just a Class A guy.
And we want to thank you, Coach, for coming down here, Coach's Corner Saturday, and helping out with the stuff in the Enquirer all season long, too. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. I appreciate all the things that you do, and obviously we've said this many times, but this city and the knowledge that people get about high school sports in this city wouldn't be the same without you, so thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. So thanks for coming down, Coach, and we'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning after this break on WBCK 95.3 FM after this.
Isn't it? Coach.
Lowe's has all the supplies you need to get your home spring ready, inside and out. Shop Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Plus, renew for the season with select cleaning essentials for under $10. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Lowe's, we help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
We have everything you might want now the spring sun is shining. Visit your nearby Lowe's on East Arquez Avenue in Sunnyvale.
WBCK, brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Now back to the show.
This is Bill Broderick, sports editor of the Battle Creek Enquirer, back here with our next Coach of the Morning, Coach Mike Kimber of the St. Phil Fighting Tigers. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Bill.
St. Phil was our lone city team that was still alive in the regional round of boys basketball, so they had some games this week and started out with a Tuesday regional semifinal with a big 56-45 win over Lawrence. And then in the regional title game, they fell short 49-40 to Colon. Just talk about the experience of playing in the regional round with your group, winning that district title that you guys had been going after for several years and getting to play that some extra basketball, and that had to be a lot of fun this week.
Yeah, no, a lot of fun this week. It was great atmospheres all the way around. Obviously we would have liked to come home with the trophy on Thursday night as well, but the kids played their all. They gave it their all. They did everything we asked, and then some. And so getting to experience that was really cool. Very happy that my seniors, Jackson, Carter, and Lincoln, got to experience that regional atmosphere after they've been with the program for 5 years. I mean, as eighth graders, they were able to come up at St. Phil. And so very happy they were finally able to get to experience that. And then I'm also happy for the freshmen to get to experience that because it's a great source of motivation for them. I mean, I had some guys asked to come into the gym yesterday, and was very pleased to see them in the gym actually when it was time to get in.
So that was great. A great season for the St. Phil Tigers, 16-9 overall, and that district title on top of that. And that group was led by your 3 seniors that have been with you for a long time, the Diswick triplets, and it's been a great run for that group, and with you and them together for this group, and talk about that run you guys made, and then also having to say goodbye to those guys. Yeah,
the run was great. I mean, they worked their butts off. That's one thing that I really, really would like our youngsters to take away from them is just how hard they work. They work incredibly hard every single day, and they're elite competitors. And so that's one big thing that I would like our freshmen to take. And I mean, it's been a grind for 5 years. Basketball season is not the shortest, and so it's been a heck of a time. A lot of fun in there. they work their butts off throughout the summers, the winters. They really, unless they were in foul trouble most nights this year, they played 32 minutes. It was extremely difficult to give that last speech. I mean, I was a little speechless there for a little bit because the end of the season, it was still fresh right there, and so just trying to wrap everything into one speech. I mean, I don't think it could have done it justice, but it had been a great 4 years, a lot of wins, a lot of great times. So it's going to be very, very difficult, seeing them go. Because that they did a lot, and there was a lot of records set.
Yep. And beyond them, you had a real young team, and so you have a lot of guys that are coming back, and like you said, they already want to get in the gym, which is a good sign. So it's some young guys who you're looking forward to maybe taking the next step. Who are those guys?
Yeah, Michael Miller, he was our lone junior on the roster. I can't wait to see his growth this next year. He's more of a 5, and so he was kind of backing up Lincoln quite a bit. And then I'd sprinkle him in there at the 4. It was kind of hard. It was kind of like a matchup by matchup every night with him this year, but extremely excited for him next year. He's come a long way this season. And then, like you said, the freshman, Caleb Francisco, he's a great ball player, high IQ. His grandfather was a long coach at St. Phil, Ted Fitzgerald, so he loves the game. He believes the game. I mean, the kid talks about the game every day in my class. Ryder Weiss, he's an outstanding defender. I think the one thing that we really want to get in the gym with him this summer is just developing his offensive side of the game. Gio Lugo, that kid came on. I wouldn't say out of nowhere because the kid works hard. But once he got his confidence rolling in about early January, we started giving him some varsity minutes from the JV, and then he got the confidence rolling, and we're like, we need him in the starting lineup. And then I thought Gio had one of his best games of the season all season long in the district final against Colon. The kid was everywhere. He was a force, and so I'm very excited for him. Cooper Rabbit, he's a very high IQ player. He's a good player. He's kind of stuck between that the guard small forward area. And so I think an off season developing his his ball handling a little bit more, quick decisions, stuff like that. He's going to be a heck of a ball player. And then we got some kids down at the JV like Mason Ryan Smith, Chase Ganka, looking forward to getting a chance to get a summer with these kids and get them developed, and we're going to try to accelerate that growth in the summer. I'm going to do some things that we haven't done maybe even before, just to try to help accelerate the growth. Bring in a lot of weight room time, a lot of plyometric time, just stuff on top of the basketball stuff that can help aid the basketball acceleration.
Sounds like a big job for you to do this summer, and I know you guys are excited about that. And we're also talking to the coaches this morning about who helps the program run smoothly. And I know you have a nice group around there at St. Phil that gets that job done for you because you can't do it by yourself. Is that right?
That's certainly right. So first off, I'd like to thank our parents for everything. We have a young group. Not a lot of kids can drive. And so we should really appreciate the parents for, getting their kids to practices and even getting them to a lot of the games this year because we were without a bus driver several games. And so being able to get our parents there, and then also them volunteering in the concessions in the admissions area for games. Then I'd like to, thank my coaching staff. I really couldn't have done it without them this year. We had Blake Shaw, who is coming on as assistant athletic director this year, and he stepped down from being the Lakeview girls coach when he and I were talking about the season. I asked him to come on, and I told him, look, dude, you can be he runs a great defense. I said, look, you can be my defensive coordinator, and I'll be completely hands-off on the defense because we'd been stuck with zone for the longest time. I think I just got comfortable with it, and Blake came in and really challenged the kids with man-to-man, and I thought by the end of the year, that was really our identity was defense. And so I wanted to thank Blake. He did a phenomenal job this year, and I learned so much coaching alongside him. Brian Schaub, my JV coach, he did a great job with the young group that he had. And I know it's tough to juggle the 5-quarter rule with me because, I needed most of those freshmen up for the varsity quarters. And so getting my math algorithm for what quarters guys were playing each night, that wasn't an easy job. So I thought Brian did a fantastic job. Zach Nelson, my assistant, appreciate him for everything he does. Then we got our support staff, we'll call them, Vicky Grote, Stacy Lightfoot, those two, they put on everything during game day. They work their tails off, and so I really appreciate everything. And then also the support that they have for me and my guys as well. Brian Snyder, who does the music, the announcing, everything like that. He does an awesome job at making our game day atmosphere go. Wanted to thank Laura Oliver for working our clock. She does a great job with that. Jason and Kelly Francisco. Jason does my book. We would really like to thank Jason for that. Even on the days where sometimes I forgot the book and had to borrow pages. Kelly Francisco also, she helped us out a lot. With everything. I mean, she did a great job with the regional finals, with getting some signage and stuff up. So really appreciate that. I want to thank the students. We had great student sections this year. It was phenomenal. I think that was heavily led by our Spirit Club. So I really appreciate them for rallying the troops each and every game. I mean, they were some of the biggest student sections I've seen as a coach there in my 8 years. And so I really appreciate that. And then last but certainly not least, I want to thank my seniors, Jackson, Lincoln, and Carter. It's been a hell of a run for the last 4 or 5 years, and we'll miss them tremendously. And it was very, very great, and I feel fortunate to be able to have worked alongside them for the last 4 years, and I'm so incredibly proud of all the growth that they made and all the accomplishments that they achieved. And then also you, Bill, everything you do for the city of Battle Creek sports, we can't appreciate you more. You do a fantastic job. And then I will say last, I will say prayers for the city of Union City right now. They're opponent of ours. I know Ben pretty well. He's invited us down there several years for their summer stuff, and so we just got a lot of thoughts and prayers going out for them.
Yeah, and then we also have that, so we appreciate those words, and we thank you, Coach, for coming down to Coach's Corner Saturdays and coverage all season long, helping out with that. So thanks a lot, Coach. We'll be back with our next Coach of the Morning after this break on WBCK 95.3 FM.
Lowe's has all the supplies you need to get your home spring ready, inside and out. Shop Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Plus, renew for the season with select cleaning essentials for under $10. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Lowe's, we help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
We have everything you might want now the spring sun is shining. Visit your nearby Lowe's on East Arcas Avenue in Sunnyvale.
On 95.3 WBCK, proudly brought to you by Lakeview Ford, where community matters. Here's Coach's Corner.
This is Bill Broderick, sports editor of the Battle Creek Enquirer, back here on Coach's Corner with our next Coach of the Morning, and Coach Crum of the Battle Creek Central Little Bearcats. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Bill.
Battle Creek Central is coming off a 10-11 season, a big step up from the year before with a very young group, but we're here to kind of say goodbye to some of the guys who are going to be leaving the program. You only had a handful of seniors. Let's talk about those guys a little bit as they leave the program.
Yeah, we were definitely young this year. We only had 2 seniors finish out the season. Sanaya Cone was one of the seniors who, played and gave a lot of effort, played a decent amount of minutes, but probably more so Randall Gray. We call him RJ. He was actually a third-year varsity player and a senior this year who, undersized as we all were, he was probably playing the 5 at only about 6 foot, maybe 6'1". So he has work cut out for him a lot, but his effort, his attitude, and energy, we really appreciated those 2 seniors this year.
And as we talked to all the coaches this morning, the program doesn't run by itself, and you don't have to do it by yourself. You have a lot of people that help you out. So let's talk about the people that helped you out with the program this year.
Yeah, well, let me start with the people at the scorer's table. Terry Walker was our official bookkeeper, and she's been doing this for many, many, many years, but we really appreciate Ms. Walker there. Gerald McKnight ran our clock. He's also been at the table for several years. And then Russ Claggett, our game announcer. So obviously you can't get through the game without an announcer and a scorekeeper and those kind of things. So we really appreciate their help this year. Want to give a shout out and a thanks to, first of all, Tyler Gillen is our executive building principal, who's a coach by heart. He actually was on the bench when I first started as an assistant coach, and now he's the principal of the building, but very supportive of what we do athletically. Lauren Granger serves as our AD as well as our head football coach, but just a lot of things that have to be taken care of from administrative end in athletics, and we want to thank Coach Granger for carrying the weight there. Our trainer, Miss Brooke, keeps our guys healthy. I think I heard one of the other coaches say this morning that the guys just seem to like to be in the training room, and I guess that's a testament to the support they feel that comes from the training room and the trainer. Also, our athletic secretary, Denise Bontempo. Once again, the administrative end of running the athletic office and program, a lot of that weight falls on Granger and Miss Denise. And then a shout out to the guys that probably help me most on a daily basis. Coach Mike McClinney is our JV coach. We feel he does an outstanding job. Mike Whitaker, freshman coach. And then I have Sam Campbell assisting me on the varsity level, along with a few other coaches that volunteer their time. That's Michael Mosley, Raymond Jackson, and Maurice Fitzpatrick. We call him Big Mo. So just a shout out and a thanks to all of those individuals who help to make sure that the program can move forward and that we get our needs